for her first child. Read.
And she conceived and bare a son, and said, The Most High hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, The Most High shall add to me another son.
Read.
And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, Send me away, that I may go unto my own place, and to my country.
So after he builds up his household, Jacob get his wives. He's having his children. They're growing up. Now it's time for him to separate so he could build up his own household, establish himself with all his wives and his children. Read.
Give me my wives and my children for whom I have served thee, and let me go, for thou knowest my service which I have done thee. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry. For I have learned by experience that the Most High have blessed me for thy sake.
What did the Most High do?
Have blessed me for thy sake.
So Laban is not a fool. He understood that the only reason why he made all these riches, the Most High increased him, is not because of his own works. It's because the Most High was dealing with Jacob. The Most High increased him for his riches. Just like for the Egyptians. Did the Most High increase the Egyptians for their own sakes? He did it because Joseph was there.
Yeah.
He had a purpose for Joseph in the land of Egypt. That's the same thing that we're seeing going on right here. Read.
28. And he said, Appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, Thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hadst before I came, and it is now increased into a multitude. And the Most High have blessed thee since my coming. And now when shall I provide for my own house also? And he said, What shall I give thee? And Jacob said, Thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. I will pass through all thy flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats. And of such shall be my hire.
So Jacob said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do for my hire. This is what I'm going to do for the wages. I'm going to go through all the flocks and get all the spotted flocks. Because the ones that were spotted is less valuable than the ones that's of pure color, like pure black, pure brown, or pure white. Those you could sell for more money during these times, versus the ones that were speckled. Read.
33. So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come, when it shall come for my hire before thy face. Every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. And Laban said, Behold, I would might it be according to thy word. And he removed that day that he had goats that were ring straight and spotted, and all the she goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown among the sheep, and gave them into the hand of his sons. And he set 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. 37. And Jacob took his rods of green poplar, and of the hazel and chestnut tree, and peeled white streaks in them, and made the white appear which was in the rock.
So what Jacob did right now, right? If anybody knows, observe anything with plants or nature, whenever you brush or cut a tree, you see that white liquid come from the tree. This is what it's referring to, that Jacob is about to do right here. Read.
38. And he set the rods which he had peeled before the flocks in the gutters and the watering troughs, when the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink.
So by him doing this with these specific plants, specific trees, and mixing it in with the water and allowing the flocks to feed, it's going to cause them to populate more, have more children, more calves, more life of flocks, more for Jacob. Read.
39. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle ring straight, speckled, and spotted.
So by him doing this, he altered how they were born. Because Jacob only wanted the what? The ring straight, the ones that were spotted. By him doing this with these plants in the water, now he has more than Laban. He's going to produce more speckled flocks. Read.
And Jacob did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks toward the ring straight, and all the brown in the flock of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not unto Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods.
So whenever he seen the strong ones, he did the same process again. So when the strong ones conceive, he'll get stronger, more healthier cattle than Laban. Read.
42. But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's.
Right, read.
And the man increased exceedingly.
So Jacob increased abundantly because of this. Because what does Jacob mean? To what? It means to supplant.
He'll hold up, meaning like he can watch you and figure out how to be better than you, basically.
Exactly. Just like how Drake said in modern times, Jacob was a finesser. He finessed Laban in his flocks. Read.
And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and maidservants, and men servants, and camels, and donkeys. Chapter 31. And he heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Jacob have taken away all that was our father's, and of that which was our father's have he gotten all this glory.
So they're making a false accusation of Jacob. Does Jacob steal anything from Laban? Jacob came humble. Jacob came and served. Laban finessed him for his wife for the first 7 years. Laban tried to make him stay so he wouldn't leave and increase himself. So who was really cheating who? Right? Laban was trying to cheat Jacob. Read.
And Jacob beheld the countenance of Laban, and behold, it was not toward him as before. And the Most High said unto Jacob, Return unto the land of thy fathers, and to thy kindred, and I will be with thee. And Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field unto his flock, and said unto them, I see your father's countenance, that it is not toward me as before. But the power of my father have been with me. And ye know that with all my power I have served your father. And your father have deceived me, and changed my wages 10 times. But the Most High suffered him not to hurt me. If he said thus, the speckled shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bear speckled.
Because Jacob was smart. Jacob did this on purpose so he could get all the speckled. That's why he put the almonds in the water. That's why he made sure that when the animals conceived, it goes up to the benefit goes to Jacob. Read. Go ahead and continue.
Let's stop at 8. Oh, okay. Verse 8. If he had thus, the speckled shall be thy wages, then all the cattle bear speckled, and if he said thus, the ring straight shall be thy hire, then bear all the cattle ring straight. Thus the Most High have taken away the cattle of your father and given them to me. And it came to pass at the time, Salakia, that the cattle conceived, that I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams which leaped upon the cattle were ring straight, speckled, and grizzled. And the angel of the Most High spake unto me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here am I. And he said, Lift up now thine eyes and see, all the rams which leap upon the cattle are ring straight, speckled, and grizzled. For I have seen all that Laban doeth unto thee. Ty, power of Bethel, where thou anointest the pillar, and where thou vowest a vow unto me.
And where he did what?
Where thou vowest a vow unto me.
And what was the vow Jacob did to the Most High? Because we see that the Most High had a hand in all of this that was going on behind the scenes. What was the vow that Jacob gave to the Most High? Come on. Whew. Let me give the sister a try.
The vow that he gave was that if the Most High would, he specifically said if the Most High would clothe him, feed him, basically take care of him, then he would serve the Most High.
Con, that was the vow. What you were referring to is what Abraham, with Melchizedek, when he gave the 10th. Let's continue reading.
He said the 10th too.
Oh, he said the 10th too? Salakia, Con. Continue reading.
Now arise, get thee out from this land, and return unto the land of thy kindred. And Rachel and Leah answered and said unto him, Is there yet any portion of or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not counted of him strangers? For he have sold us, and have quite devoured also our money. For all the riches which the Most High hath taken from our father, that is ours, and our children's. Now then, whatsoever the Most High have said unto thee, do. Then Jacob rose up, and set his sons and his wives upon camels, And he carried away all his cattle and all his goods which he had gotten. The cattle of his getting, which he had gotten in Padan Aram, for to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan.
So now Jacob's ready to depart. His wife's here to break down. They're here to understand that the Most High had a part in this. Now they agree with Jacob. Now everybody's on their way to depart away from Laban. Continue reading.
19. And Laban went to shear his sheep. And Rachel had stolen the images that were her father's.
And she did what?
Stole the images that were her father's.
So by her stealing the images of her father, what that show you Laban was dealing with? He was dealing with idolatry. The Most High was dealing with idolatry.
Yeah.
Let's continue reading.
20. And Jacob stole away unawares to Laban the Syrian, and that he told him not that he fled. So he fled with all that he had.
So Jacob ran off from the plug. He ran off on Laban. Laban wasn't aware. He just took his stuff and he left. Read.
And he rose up and passed over the river and set his face toward the Mount Gilead. And it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob was fled. And he took his brethren with him and pursued after him 7 days' journey. And they overtook him in the Mount Gilead.
So they caught up with Jacob. Because Jacob already told him, as soon as I get my wages and hire, what is he going to do? Didn't he get his wages and hire? So that shows you how much Jacob was helping Laban prosper. That he really didn't want to let him go. If he could, he probably locked up Jacob so he could continue working for him. Continue reading.
24. And the Most High came to Laban, the Syrian, in a dream by night,
What he said to him?
and said unto him, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad. Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the mount of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What hast thou done, that thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives taken with the sword? Wherefore didst thou flee away secretly and steal away from me?
So he's accusing Jacob of stealing his daughters. Did Jacob steal the man's daughters?
No, he worked.
He worked 14 years for the man's daughters.
Yeah.
He
Don't-
said at sword too, like by force.
Exactly. like he's kidnapping the man's daughters. That's not what we see in the scriptures. Jacob worked 14 years for his daughters. He worked 7 years for Rachel. He finessed him and gave him Leah.
Right.
Then he had to work 7 years for Rachel. Did Jacob steal the idols?
No.
That's what he's saying. You stole from me. Did Jacob steal anything from him? No. Jacob didn't steal the idols. Read.
And didst not tell me that I might have sent thee away with mirth, and with songs, with tabret, and with harp? And hast not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters? Thou hast now done foolishly in so doing. It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt. But the power of your father spake unto me yesternight, saying, Take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob good or bad. And now, though thou wouldest needs be gone, because thou sore longest after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods?
So now he's accusing him for stealing idols. Because he said he wants to set Jacob off with mirth and throw a party and a feast. He didn't want to let Jacob go. So he was coming in an off spirit. He's a liar. Read.
31. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, Because I was afraid. For I said, Perhaps thou wouldest take by force thy daughters from me. With whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live. Before our brethren discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them.
So Jacob agreed unaware that she stole the idols. Whoever took the idols, the punishment for that was death. Read.
33. And Laban went into Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the two maidservants' tents. But he found them not. Then went he out of Leah's tent, and entered into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the images, and put them in the camel's furniture, and sat upon them.
So Rachel's hiding the idols so she don't get put to death. Read.
And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not. And she said to her father, Let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before thee. For the custom of women is upon me. And he searched, but found not the images. Wait a minute. I just thought about that. Is it a custom of women? Oh, okay. She was a cycle or something like
Lady
Most
time.
likely.
that? That's crazy. I just caught that. I just thought about that. Verse 36. And Jacob was wroth and chode with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass?
He said, what did I do to you that you're treating me like this?
Mhm.
Because he greeted Jacob with love and affection. You're the bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh.
Mhm.
Marry my daughters. I'm going to give you everything you need. Now he's treating Jacob like he's an Edomite. Read.
What is my sin that thou hast so hotly pursued after me?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff, what hast thou found of all thy household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they may judge between us both. This 20 years have I been with thee. Thy ewes and thy she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flock have I not eaten. That which was torn of beasts I brought not unto thee. I bear the loss of it. Of my hand didst thou require it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. Thus I was, in the day that drought consumed me, and the
Battles and sell it off to another nation. I never did anything to you. I was blameless in your sight. So what is the beef that we're having right now? What's the issue? Continue reading.
42. Except the power of my father, the power of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me, surely thou hadst sent me away now empty. The Most High have seen my affliction, and the late rebuked thee yesternight. And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine.
So now he's trying to G-check Jacob. Is that true? Everything Jacob, and he just mentioned it, all Jacob's possession, rightfully in the eyes of the Most High. It doesn't belong to Laban. The minute Jacob worked those 14 years for his daughters, he exchanged his daughters to Jacob. Now that's Jacob's possession. Jacob made the oath that he would get the speckled livestock. The minute he agreed to that, now it became Jacob's possession. So now he's accusing Jacob. Now he's saying that this is my stuff.
Yeah.
Read. And what can I do this day unto these my daughters, or unto their children which they have borne? Now therefore come down, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee.
So now they're about to make a vow in between one another. When you make a vow between one another, can you break that? You can't break the vow. Read.
And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar. And Jacob said unto his brethren, gather stones. And they took stones and made an heap, and they did eat there upon the heap. And Laban called it Jegar Shahah Duta. The Jacob called it Galid. And Jacob said, this heap is a witness between me and thee this day. Therefore was the name of it called Galid. And Mizpah, for he said, the Most High watched between me and thee when we were absent one from another. If thou shalt afflict my daughters, or if thou shalt take other wives beside my daughters, no man is with us. See, the Most High is witness between me and thee. And Laban said to Jacob, behold this heap, and behold this pillar, which I have cast between me and thee. This heap be witness, and this pillar be witness, that I will not pass over this heap to thee, and that thou shalt not pass over this heap and this pillar unto me.
So
for
after they consummate this vow, they eat, they sit down, and they're about to finalize this vow. Jacob was saying, I'm not going to have nothing to do with you and your dealings, and you're not going to have anything to do with my dealings or interrupt the things I got going on. Continue reading.
53. And the power of Nahor, the power of their father, judge between us. And Jacob sware by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered sacrifice upon the mount, and called his brethren to eat bread. And they did eat bread, and tarried all night in the mount. And early in the morning Laban rose up and killed and blessed them. And Laban departed and returned unto his place. Chapter 32. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of the Most High met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, this is the Most High's host. And he called the name of that place Mahanaim.
So that's the end of the portion. Let's give the Most High a round of applause. All praises be to the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Priest, you have any announcements, anything before we go Imaja Wapanya, Hakadam, rise and face the east.
Hallelujah.
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 No, he got it.
All praise be to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob for his mercy truly endure forever. Our heart we thank you for giving us this Shabbat day in peace. For in these days we know that many are not in peace. But we thank you for giving us the joy and understanding of thy Torah, that we have the wisdom that you have imparted upon us. We thank you for having that holy angels encamped around us on this Shabbat day. We ask that you bless our congregation, bless all those that are faced to the east, calling our high and holy name, and that you make everyone passage home, that they return safe and sound. We ask that you be with us on this time forth. Bless all those that were not here today, and bless the souls that the new parishioners that have joined us today on the Shabbat. May they be sealed by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. Always to me ask and pray, give thanks by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai. Dwanatam Yad. Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
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 In the mouth of babes, Yahweh will perfect the praise. In the mouth of babes, Yahweh perfect the praise. In the mouth of babes, Yahweh perfect the praise. Hallelujah, hallelujah.